Hey guys, my name is Bence. I'm also known as Foddy or Foddy, whichever version you prefer. And usually I'm streaming in Hungarian, so this is going to be a tricky one today because I'm pretty sure it's the first time I'm trying to make a stream in English. So please bear with me because my English is a little bit rusty and my accent is all kinds of up. So never mind. What I'm planning today is updating Attractaball, which is a really simple 2D platformer game that we, as Laser Magnet Games, my friend Tibor and myself, made a couple of weeks ago for a Hungarian game jam called Havi egy játék, which is basically a game every month. And I'm pretty sure there's an official or whatever game jam with the same name, but this is the Hungarian flavor. So it was basically, as it always goes, we started to make the game 3 days before the deadline, even though we had a month to make it, but that's just how we roll. So without further ado, I would like to give you a quick tour, if you are interested, how the game looks like at this point. It's up on itch, and I sprinkled the link to the game everywhere basically, so it's right below the video if you want to just click it, or you can use the high-tech command Attractaball to get a link from the chatbot, and it leads you to this wonderful itch page, which looks like the default one because we didn't bother to update it with any advanced graphics or an actual background color that is not the default one. Never mind. So this is what the game looks like. It's made in Construct 3, which is my game engine of choice, and I'm just going to play it for a little bit so you gotta feel what this game is all about. It's a physics platformer. When you click with your mouse, you enter with this little funny green wheel. You can also use a gamepad to play it, and actually if you use a gamepad, you just need to press the button A, or whatever it's called if you have a PlayStation controller. When you press the button, another player joins, because this game supports multiplayer, up to 3 players. So you can basically cooperatively go through all the levels, or just, hinder each other's progress, whichever you prefer, or you manage. So this little guy, this wheel as we call it, is capable of jumping, which can be triggered with a click or the button A on the gamepad. When you click, it jumps in the direction that the mouse is looking at. On a gamepad you need to use the analog stick, the left one. I'm pretty sure it works with the left one only. And you specify a direction and then give it a button and it jumps in this direction. And as you might have guessed, the jumps are limited, because if I'm just tapping it like crazy, if the number reaches 0 on the wheel, then it's going to stop jumping. And there is a maximum number of jumps. On this level it's 5. So if I want to go up there, I'm pretty sure that I need to waste some of my jumps, but luckily they all cool down and reload or refresh. So if you do something like this, you just need to give it a little bit of rest, and then the jumps recharge. And then you can go about your business. And I'm pretty sure that I'm stuck at this point, or maybe not, but luckily there's the letter R that you can press, or the menu button on your gamepad, and the level will restart if something like this happens, because I'm talking and not concentrating on aiming and playing well. Never mind. So the point of the game is not just to control this wheel, but to find a bunch of little balls, these little guys that are blinking over here, and you will need to get those little guys, some of them anyway, to this exit that is on the right. In the top right corner you can see a little gauge that tells you how many balls you need to rescue. So there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a nice round number, 10 balls, but you only need to rescue 3 of them. And wow, what the f happened? Okay, I might have selected the iframe. So to rescue them, you need to obviously get close to them. So this time I'm trying not to screw up the door mechanic. Okay, now the obstacles are in a much more pleasant arrangement, and I'm just going to jump over here and land in this bit of a, I don't know, a basket or funnel or whatever it's called. And as you see, the wheel is not overlapping, I mean, it's not colliding with the balls, it's overlapping. And this allows you to basically swing those little guys around. If you make a jump and you are overlapping some of those little balls, then they will match your, basically your movement vector. So if I do something like this, you can throw them around, and this way you can move them. But this is the only way to move them. So you are not colliding with them. You can only do something like this to move them around. And you will also need to take care, because when you press jump, then the wheel goes white, and this means that while it's white, it's inflicting this force on the balls. So you might, you know, push them around sometimes when you don't really want to push them around, but I think you get the picture. So this is the whole game essentially. I mean, there are a few more mechanics, but not a lot. I'm not going to do a proper playthrough at this point, I think, but maybe just a couple more levels. The first few levels are kind of easy, and there are at this point 8 levels in the game. So the last few ones are a little bit hard. Okay, so on this level, you need to rescue 15 of them, and there are a lot more than 15 on this level, so you don't have to, you know, worry about it. Oh, I think I'm going to go full screen, because when I'm clicking outside this window, it's not, obviously it's not going to take my input. So this is the full screen mode, and you can trigger this by pressing F on your keyboard, and you just need to bounce those little pink balls around so they eventually reach the exit. Something like that. Okay, so I need a couple more. Crap. I'm still going to need to fetch one from the bottom. Yeah, maybe those two. It's usually a good strategy to do some quick consecutive jumps when you want to quickly move around, or you want to inflict a bigger amount of force on the little balls that you are overlapping with. Okay, this is it. So maybe one more level just to show you that there are actually 2 types of balls, and these ones, the blue ones, are a lot heavier and they don't bounce around as much as the pink ones. So if you check, when they landed on this wall, they didn't really bounce around compared to the pink ones, at least. Oh, that was a little bit. Let me try double jump. Okay, this is much more effective. At the end of the level, this stupid text shows up, and the time slows down to the half of the normal time, and then in just 2 or 3 seconds the next level comes up. So this is basically it. This is an orange obstacle that you've seen in the first level. It can be used as a bridge. This is the last level I'm going to do, and then I'm going to get cooking, because we have a few things to do. We already went through some feedback, we found a few bugs, and we have a few more ideas on how to improve this game, or maybe not improve, but, you know, change it. And Tibor and I went through some of those ideas and compiled a neat little project in a tool that I have not used before. I just registered yesterday, I think. It's called Taiga, and it's like Trello or Asana, but it's open source. It has a free version that is hosted, so you don't have to self-host it, but you can. And this is where the open source part comes in, because you are free to install it on your own hardware if you want. But since we are only trying this out, if it works out better than Trello, I chose the cloud version, which has a really generous free package, so I can try it out. And essentially, it's Trello with a little bit, a few features maybe borrowed from other project management software. So there are epics like in Jira, and there are issues kind of like in GitHub. These are for bugs. For example, this is a nasty bug that I found just a few hours after the GEMS deadline, after we submitted the final version. There's a crappy bug that but it hinders players' progress, because if they are using a gamepad to control the wheel, and they don't press the analog stick on the left, so this one, to specify a direction, just press jump, then they basically lose a jump, and the wheel does not jump because it doesn't know in which direction to jump. And the additional issue that if you do this, then the jump will not replenish. So this is probably the one that I'm going to start with. It should be an easy fix. Speaking of bugs, this is not a bug, this is a question, because Taiga allows this sort of issue as well. So this is type question, severity minor. Yes, we contemplated allowing the player to respawn instead of restarting the whole level, but this changes the mechanics quite a lot, so we might do this or might not. This is TBD, so I'm not going to touch this today. And my good friend Levi also played the game, and he said that there is an issue if you use the mouse and you are in one of the corners, for example in the bottom left corner, but you still want to go in the left or down direction, then you are too close to the edge of the screen with the cursor, so it was a little bit tough to control the ball in this particular scenario. So we either need to do something about the mouse control, and we have an idea which has drawbacks, so we might do this or not, or just modify the levels so that these little borders are a little bit more thicker, so the ball doesn't really go that close to the corners or the edges. Once again, not the ball, the wheel. I'm going to need to pay attention to this terminology. Yeah, so, and the more interesting stuff, the new ideas, the additions are in this Kanban mode, which has Trello vibes all over it. There are cards, and they are all listed in this lane called new. And these are usually, most of them, just new additions that we can add to levels. For example, rotation joints. If you want to basically stick a obstacle, the orange boxes, at a location that allows it to rotate around this joint but not move around this. I mean, you can basically pin it somewhere. So these could lead to some interesting level designs. Right. I think I'm going to get started, and then I will revisit this Kanban because I really want to fix this bug at first. So this is the first I'm going to do. So I already fired up construct. This is the project. It's probably a bit of a mess, so I might do some cleaning up. I definitely forgot to bump up the version. The gem version was built 15, so I'm going to change this to 16. And this is also the file name, Attractaball v16 post gem. This is the project file I'm saving this version as. And if I, complete a few bug fixes and maybe some additions, I'm going to push a new version to itch. So if there are anyone who's checking this stream, they can play it right away. Okay, so let's get started. Essentially, I'm pretty sure the bug is somewhere either over here or maybe here. The problem is that the gamepad controls, Yes, so these are the gamepad controls. This is the one that takes care of the aiming. The left analog stick axis is, when it's not centered, is going to call this function called onAimInput. And if it's not, then it's going to, if it's centered, it's going to call the onAimInputEnd function. This is fine. The problem is that when someone presses the button A, then the game is going to call this onJumpInput function, and the issue is within this function, I'm pretty sure, because this function does not care if there's an aim or not. I mean an angle specified in which direction to jump. It just calls this jump function, and yeah, so this is already playing the jump sound, applying the impulse, which makes the wheel move in a direction. So the problem is that if the arrow is visible, I'm only doing this impulse. That's okay, but the problem is that if you're using the gamepad, the arrow is only visible if the left analog stick is not centered. If you're using the mouse, the arrow is always visible, so this bug does not affect the mouse at this point anyway. So let me just check how things are going here. Okay, so this checks if there's, you know, enough jumps, at least one. Then it subtracts the, yeah, this is the problem. So essentially, if I think I'm going to move this right here, the condition, because when we jump, we definitely need to pick the arrow, which is the child of the player, and we need to check if it's visible. If it's not visible, then this whole shindig should not run at all. But if it's visible, then I'm pretty sure that we can just, you know, subtract from the jump value, the variable, update the UI, which updates the little number on the wheel, play the jump sound, and then grab all doubles that are overlapping the player. Yeah, it's called player, not wheel, but never mind that. It's an interchangeable name. And basically, yeah, this whole impulse thing needs to happen. Yeah. Let me try. And to try, I'm going to do something a little bit tricky, because I have an iPad that I check the stream if it's not stuck or anything, like it sometimes, you know, gets. And I'm going to plug in this little wireless receiver, and hopefully nothing goes wrong at this point, because I have this amazing Logitech gamepad over here, and this is the only one I have. Oh crap, now bear with me. Okay, that stuff. So, you know, this is the one that they used in this this very famous submarine, I think. So this is how it works. When I press, when I move the stick, the little arrow shows up. And the problem was, I can undo the fix just to show you the problem. I might not do this amount of rubber ducking the whole time, but yeah, this was a bug, so why not? So when I join and, you know, press the little stick in a direction, then I can do the jump just like I'm using the mouse. But the problem was, if I don't move the stick and press A, then as you can see, the number decrements and it does not do anything. And it doesn't even replenish, because it doesn't call the function that does the cooldown thing. Then if I, for example, have 2 jumps left and move the stick and then jump, then it's all good, because it's going to replenish all the way. So this is not a, you know, critical one. But if someone does something like this, that's a problem, because now you cannot move anywhere and you cannot jump, and yeah, you're stuck at this point. So the big fix, let me redo it like this. Move the condition that checks if the arrow is visible all the way to the whole jump function. So not function, it's custom action, but it's very similar to a function. Okay, common construct. So I'm pressing the button to join, I'm moving the stick, it jumps fine. And now if I do not move the stick and press A, nothing happens. This is a lot better, because now you cannot get stuck, I think. Because yeah, you can only make a jump if the arrow is visible. So I think we are good at this point. Another solution might have been to, you know, just leave the arrow at if I you know, don't press the analog stick in any direction, I can still retain the last angle, but it's probably not a good idea, because if I let the stick go like this, it's quite possible that it does a little jitter or something, and you end up in a really undesirable angle, and then maybe do a jump and do something that is really not what you intended. So this is how I'm going to fix this bug. Essentially just add the check that only allows jumps when the arrow is visible. That's it. That was the whole shindig, I think. So the question is, what do I do with this issue? I think I'm going to move it to ready for test. Yeah, cool. So, right, maybe that was it. And our first bug fix is now complete. So just for good measure, I'm going to test if everything works with the export and the little script that updates the game. So right now I'm going to make an export. I'm going to place it in this folder. Like this. Cool. Yes, I'm going to replace it, and I just run this little, I'll wait for the download to complete. I mean, Construct is running in Chromium, which is basically Chrome. So it literally downloads a zip file, which has a bunch of HTML and JavaScript and stuff like this inside it. And I'm uploading this zip file verbatim using this amazing little CLI tool called Butler. It's an official itch.io tool. And this just uploads the zip to the right channel. And for good measure, I'm also uploading the game to our very own site, play.lasermagnet.com. So we can check if it runs there as well. So, okay, so the game is not running now. That's fine. If I go to the itch.io page and do a refresh, we should probably see, yes, this little number loading game for the first time. This means that the upload was successful, and it is right now pushing the new build to the, I don't know how many CDN servers, and it should complete in a couple of seconds and hopefully, yeah, boot up. I mean, my PC is not the strongest one, so it takes a couple seconds, but okay. And now we can try it. So jump works fine. If I don't press the analog stick, then I cannot jump. That was it. That was easy. One bug squashed. Hopefully not two more bugs introduced, but we'll see. Okay. So just for good measure, I think I'm going to test if everything works here as well. Not that I'm going to do this for each change. No, that would be really boring. So okay, that's cool. I cannot jump if I don't use the analog stick to specify a good angle. Nice. Okay, that was it. So let's move on to the Kanban view inside Taiga, and let's check if I can find a relatively easy to do card. So rotation joints. Okay, I'm a little bit scared because these are, you know, physics joints, and I haven't been using them for a long time, so I'm not quite sure if they have any, you know, tricky behaviors that I'm not aware of. So I'm going to postpone this one. Right. Okay. Single direction pass through door. Okay. This is probably not a horribly difficult one either. Wheel pass through, ball pass through. So these are basically types of walls that either only the wheel or balls can pass through. So these are selective walls essentially, or filters, or whatever you want to call it. Booster wall. Okay, this sounds like fun. I think I'm going to choose this one. I put it in this in progress lane at first. And yeah, there are a couple level design changes. I think this card has some additional info, if I remember correctly. I did this card yesterday or the day before. Okay, so there are 2 tasks to be completed. On level 3, we need to force player interaction with the blue balls. Okay, I showed you level 3 at the beginning of the stream. This is the first level, which has 2 types of balls, the pink ones that are bouncy and the heavy blue ones which are not that bouncy. And the amazing Wimlark has tried our game a couple days ago after I logged out and managed to complete his crazy pachinko style lottery, essentially. So I submitted my game to his Feedback Friday extravaganza, and after the second try, I basically won the raffle, and then Wim played it, and he provided some really useful feedback. And it was really awesome to see him play the game, because I kind of like him. He has a bunch of really cool games himself, and he has good insight. So yeah, it was fun. And he said basically that this level, I'm going to open it by the way in just a second. So level 3 has this bit of a problem because it has 2 spawners. No, sorry, I'm going to press F5 instead of F4, and now it's going to boot up this exact layout. Okay, so this spawner spawns just a few blue balls, and this one is an infinite type spawner. So if the player chooses to, only interact with the pink balls, they absolutely can, because even if they screw up really a lot and just, shoot a bunch of ping balls into this big red hazardous material, I don't know what it's called yet, but it's essentially a square of lava. If you touch it with the, these little balls, then they disappear, they got destroyed. So since this is an infinite spawner, you can just, keep rescuing ping balls, stay at the same place, and there is really no point to go over here and move these blue ones around, which was kind of the point of the level, to introduce them, to introduce the player to the 2 types of balls that behave slightly differently. So yeah, this was probably the first thing that Wim mentioned, and I'm going to fix this right now. So I'm not afraid to get into a situation or force the player to, restart the level if they fail to rescue enough balls and they just, end up destroying all of them or most of them or enough of them. So what I'm going to change is really simple change. If you guys check, the blue spawner has this spawn delay of 2, which means that the first ball spawns 2 seconds after the level is started. It has a spawn count of 10, which means that 10 balls are going to come out of this spawner. And there is a spawn interval of 0.5, which is also in seconds. This means that after the 2 seconds, 1 ball is going to spawn at every half a second, and only 10 balls will come out of this spawner. And in comparison, this one has similar values, but the spawn count is actually set to -1, which is a special value. That means this spawner is an infinite spawner, so it will just keep spawning new balls infinitely. No, this is not right. Yeah, so continuously until the level is either completed or the player's brain breaks and quits. So I'm going to change this essentially to a different number. It is not -1. So there is this special level manager object which contains the rules for the level, or the requirements, whatever you want to call it, is prefixed with an R. The ball rescue target is set to 15. So if I start the game at this level, then this number 15 in the top right corner is reflected of this value. So if we want to leave this at 15, then maybe I should change both spawners to something like definitely something that is less than 15. I think I'm going to change this to 10. So if you only rescue 10 pink balls, or if you manage to rescue all of them, you will still need to rescue 5 of the blue ones. That's it. It's a really easy fix, so I think I'm just going to leave it there. Although there's a good chance that my friend Tibor, who did a bunch of level design, the better levels are usually made by Tibor, so he might already he might have already made changes, because this afternoon he said that he's going to, you know, screw around a few levels in the game, or maybe make new ones. I don't know. Never mind. So he's going to do level design today, hopefully. I don't know if you're watching, Tibor, but you really should, because you promised. Never mind. Just kidding. So, okay. Now, yeah, I killed a little pink ball right there. And as you can see, I only have 2 left, so... Okay, this is not critical, but yeah, I definitely need to step up and rescue a bunch of blue ones. Just one more. Yay! Okay, it works. Right, that was it. So, this is another easy fix. I'm just going to set this to ready to test. Yeah, I might have been, it might have been justified to set it to close, but no, never mind, this is fine. Okay, and the other level is a level, whoops, okay, that was OBS, never mind. So the other level was level 7, which has this crazy seesaw thing. Let me just show you, because I did not play this in the beginning. Okay, so there's a big obstacle, which, you know, is just a solid object that you and the balls also interact with, so they, I mean collide with, same thing. So if I join here, I can use this teleportation device right here to teleport to the top of the level. And then I can do something like this. Whoops, yeah, sorry. I clicked outside the window. I'm going to need to go to full screen or do something. I might need to, I don't know, maybe it would make sense to lock the mouse cursor in the window if it's not in full screen. So accidental clicks don't screw stuff around that much. Okay, so I think you get the picture. Basically, you need to interact with this crappy seesaw stuff. Maybe something like this. If you really want to, you can probably dislodge it from his this you know, original place, and then it will just lay flat on this surface, which is the red lava surface. So all the balls are killed if they collide with that. Okay, so the only issue we had with this level is that I left the, I made this level, by the way, so yeah, this is why it's a little bit, you know, tricky, to say the least. So the main issue was that 15 is just too high, and it is the default value in the template. I think I have 15 set. Yeah, exactly. So I just copied the template, the level template, which is blank, and I did not bother to change it. So the easiest fix is to go for something a little, you know, maybe not so hard. I mean, 7? Yeah, why not? Tibor had a different idea about this level. He wanted to make a little funnel around the exits, so it's easier to get the balls in the exits. You don't have to make them, you know, move too precisely, or you don't have to be too precise with your jumps or swings or whatever. So he might change this level as well, and I'm pretty sure we're going to use his version if he does this. But if he doesn't, you know, this level is already corrected this way, just by lowering the expectations from the player. So I'm going to move this to ready to test as well. And hey, it's a Kanban, so it should move, yes, in this lane. That's cool. Okay, so making progress. By the way, I'm quite tired, so I'm not quite sure how many cards do I'm going to, you know, complete today, but a couple more definitely. So let's get cracking. Okay, the booster roll one is the next. I don't know if yeah, I didn't bother to fill out the description, but this is kind of self-explanatory. So essentially what we need is a special type of wall, or I don't know, background or something, that is essentially just a booster. So if either the wheel, the player, or the balls interact with it, they are going to get a constant force while they are overlapping with it. So this is, you know, the same booster that is in most arcade driving games, for example, Mario Kart and stuff like this. When you go over the little, you know, yellow arrows or something, then they will give you a speed boost temporarily. So this is what I want to make in this game. And to do that, we are going to need a new object type, that's for sure. And I have no idea how it should look like, but by the way, basically anything that is in the game, the graphics were made by me, so it's literally programmer art, and it looks kind of like crap, but yeah, Tibor didn't really have time to do proper graphics. He was occupied with making the sound effects, level designs, yeah, overall not level designs, but game design. So he was a big help, but it would be really great if he did the graphics again for these, you know, current objects, because they kind of look like crap. Never mind. So they serve the purpose anyway. So okay, I'm going to make a new object type, and I'm just contemplating if I should make it a sprite or a tiled background for the walls. Yeah, I'm using tiled backgrounds, and these are not even the walls, these are placeholders for walls. So this object is not the one that you actually see in game. This is a placeholder that gets replaced in runtime with an actual wall, which has a single object template right over here. This is the one. This is the actual wall. It's called wall, and these are just called PH, as in placeholder wall. So I probably need something to do. I probably need to do something like this. So I need a placeholder, and I need an actual object. And both of them, the wall is a tiled background. So I think I'm just going to do exactly the same. Okay. These are pretty sure I am pretty sure these are like 1 pixel wide, yeah, graphics, the thing that I usually do. So let's create a new one. For placeholders, I always go like this, because then you can just use the color overlay to give it an actual color. So these are white pixels as well, but no, sorry. No, they were white pixels initially, but now they are colored in. So yeah, I might do something like yellow, or maybe a little bit green, like the slime stuff. I don't know. Okay, this differs enough, so I think I'm just going to use this. However, I might give it a little bit of an opacity. I mean, I decrease the opacity, so I don't know, to 70%, maybe. I mean, if it's going to stay in the background, it doesn't really make any sense, but the problem is that the color is really bright, and if it overlaps with the player, it might be an issue. So yeah, I'm going to make this 30% opacity. So I need to name this, and I'm going to name it Speed Booster. And now the $5 million question is that how do I want to do this? Because I either need to specify a direction. So if something like a wheel, I mean the player, or a ball overlaps this, it should either, you know, keep its current movement direction and just receive a speed boost. This is probably an easy one, and it might be a more generic solution. Or I can do something like a fixed direction, like, I don't know, to the right or something. But in this case, I definitely need to do some kind of I might need to add the mark or something, so that the player sees the direction that the booster is going to move the stuff around. Okay, I think I'm going to go with the latter one. And to do this, I will need to resize this. So I'm going to make it 16 by 16. And I'm just going to draw a really horrible arrow on top of this. Or I might have some arrows. For example, this. Yeah, this is for the portal. Okay. I think I'm just going to copy this. It's 32 by 32, so at first I think I'm going to save this nice lime color and resize this to maybe 16 by 16, I don't know. Oh, oops, that's not the one I wanted. Okay, so 16, keep aspect ratio and stretch. Yeah, it's a little bit asymmetrical this way. Okay, I'm not going to bother with this. I'm just going to remove the little smooth pixels. I mean these ones. Yeah, looks good. And I'm just going to make a little bit of an adjustment like this. Copy this part, remove this part, and just flip it like this. Okay, and if I paste it right here, yeah, this kind of looks good. Or I might do something like this. Yeah, this is cool. Right, okay, so now the canvas is 16 by 16, which is cool, but I'm going to shorten this a little bit like this. And I'm going to color this arrow black and use this nice lime color to give it a little bit of a fill. Okay, so this is how it looks like. It looks like crap and the border is too small. So I'm going to turn this into something like this, and this time I'm going to let it leave it at the center so I can just do this fill. Okay, looks alright, not horrible, but I mean horrible, but it serves a purpose, I guess. Maybe the arrow is too big. Yeah, I don't like it, sorry. I'm going to do something completely different. I'm just going to draw little lines, thin ones. Oh, with black, right? So essentially it looks like this, and that's it. So it's 2 pixels, 2 pixels. Let's check if it looks all right this way. It might not, but okay, let's take a look. That's all right, I guess. What the where did those, why did it, I don't know why it became smooth. Okay, let's do it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it was, and yeah. Okay, and this time I'm going to pay attention. So 2, 2, and crop it. Okay, it looks good. Just to be safe, I copy it to the clipboard, and what the actual F is going on here? Okay, I have literally no idea why it was smooth on the first 2 tries, but then I copied it, I overwrote it with the clipboard data, and now it looks fine, I guess. Okay. Yeah, this is a lot better. So the size is a bit weird, but I'm not going to bother. So this is a speed booster, as I said it. So I'm going to clone this object type and rename it to ph speed booster and steal it from here and use it on the level template layout, which has everything, one of everything. Whoops, I pasted it on the wrong layer. Typical. Okay, so there is now a speed booster on this layout. Let me just check. Yeah, these are the origins are centered, so I'm going to change it to origin center, and I'm going to change this one as well. This is a good song, but I'm going to skip it because it has a bunch of it has like a quoted part from the movie Network, I presume. It's a good one, but yeah, it's counterintuitive while streaming. Anyway, I have no idea if it's going to work fine because I set up OBS so the music track is hopefully muted in the VOD, but I'm also recording the stream to my PC, and this version, the recorded one, should have the music track. I don't know why. I don't know if I will ever be able to, upload it anywhere and not get a bunch of DMCA notices, but yeah, I'm just going to keep it for the archives anyway. Okay, so origin center, and this one is also centered. Cool. I'm going to make a copy of this layout, not a copy, an actual duplicate like this, and I'm going to, never mind, I'm just going to call this level 9. It will probably have a different number and it will be in a different order, but for now this is fine. I'm going to close level template, open this one, and I'm going to do something like this and add maybe a wall like over here, and I will definitely need to have an exit, and I will definitely need to have a spawner, and I'm just going to turn these off. I'm not sure where I'm going with this yet, but I will need to test if the booster works fine. So this is the player spawner, so I'm going to put it here. Okay, this is just a really rough test. I'm not going to do actual level design here. Okay, so I'm just going to size it so it doesn't look that crap around the edges. Okay, and now I will actually need to spawn stuff, because this is the placeholder for the speed booster, not the actual speed booster. First, I'm going to move this to its rightful place, which is the placeholders folder, and I'm going to check if, okay, so this is the place, the event sheet, where I do all these kind of things, like when the placeholder obstacle is created, it should instead create an obstacle in its same position with the same size, blah blah blah. So I'm just going to copy one of these like this and replace a bunch of things. So instead of pH hazard, sorry, no, I'm not going to be able to do this because the hazard or hazard, it's an patch object and not a wall. So I'm going to copy the wall 1 because the wall is a tiled background plugin. So pH wall is going to be the one that I'm going to replace with pH speed booster. And in this instance, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be, okay, so pH wall is going to be pH speed booster and another replace. The wall is going to be speed booster, hopefully. Yeah. Okay. It essentially creates a speed booster at the same position as the placeholder. Then it sets the size and sets the angle. That's it, and it destroys the original placeholder. So this should work fine, but the speed booster is not working yet, so I'm going to need to do something along the lines of, if something is overlapping with the speed booster, then it should receive a speed boost, simply. And for this, as it's an overlap, I'm going to use this sheet called e-collisions. So a little bit of an organizational tip. I already have a blog post detailing this, but essentially I'm putting event sheets into folders. There are separate folders for actions. It only has event sheets prefixed with the letter A, and these ones only have custom actions inside them and nothing else. Essentially the same goes for functions. There's a functions folder, and it has a bunch of event sheets that are prefixed, the names are prefixed with the letter F for functions, and these only have functions in them. And for proper actions, I mean events, as in events that have conditions and actions, these are put into this folder and under, one of these event sheets, which are prefixed with the letter E. So for example, E collisions does stuff like if balls are colliding with the exit, if players are overlapping with the balls, and the twin is playing. Yeah, it's a little bit of a finicky situation because this would make more sense. Never mind. It has the same effect, so the order of conditions in this case doesn't really matter, I think. So these basically are the events that check for overlaps or collisions, which are overlaps that just happened, basically. So I'm going to do something like this, like if balls are overlapping the speed booster, or if there are players overlapping the speed booster. The question is, do I want players and balls to be affected by the speed booster as well? I'm pretty sure I do not. At first I'm only going to do this for balls. So if balls are overlapping the speed booster object, any of them, then basically while it's happening, all the balls should receive this force thing. Something like this, basically. So I'm going to apply a force constantly, and I might need to do something like create a constant somewhere. Oh, speaking of constants, I missed one of the folders. So there are 4 actions, events, functions I tackled, but values I haven't. These folders always only have 3 event sheets in my projects. One of them is for constants. These are global constants. So this one is always ticked in these ones. There are vstate variables, global variables that are not constants, just variables, and I use them just like everyone uses these. And one extra one is the vMacros event sheet, which has all these neat essentially macros. These are constants, but they act as macros. So if I ever do something like refer a layer by name, I do not use string literals in the expression editor, for example. Instead, I use stuff like this. So I write layer, I begin writing layer, and because this is a global constant, the autocomplete is going to, show me all the layer macros. I'm going to show this in a minute. Sorry. So I'm not going to do this right now, but pretty soon, I'm pretty sure, because right now I'm going to need a constant, and I prefixed all constants with the letter C and a underscore. So I'm going to do something like speed booster force, and it's going to be a number, and it's going to be kind of a low number. I think 1 is probably fine. I'm not sure which number I'm using. I have no idea. Yeah. So I'm just going to start with the force of 1. And since the balls are pretty small, this might be a little high. We'll see. So for balls that are overlapping the speed booster, I want to apply a force to them at a specific angle. The force is going to be the one that I just defined in the constants event sheet. So speed booster force, the angle is going to come from the speed booster object itself, like this. And I do not care about the image point, so the image point is going to stay at 0, which means the origin of the balls will be affected when the force is applied to them. So I'm going to save and try this out in just a second. So the easiest way to do this is to use this spawner and put it right above the speed booster. So let's check. Ah, crap, I already messed it up. I pressed F4 instead of F5. So now I'm pressing F5, so this layout starts. Yeah, Okay, it's definitely working. So when the balls are overlapping, they are moved a little bit to the right. Okay, this is cool. The question is that do I want level editors like Tibor and myself allow to specify the force in the level editor, which is basically just, construct. Maybe if I use an instance variable that specifies the force, that could be a good one. But the issue with this is that players have no idea how much these speed boosters are actually going to boost the overlapping balls. So I'm not going to do that at this point, and I will have a conversation about this with Tibor maybe later. So I'm just going to do a bigger value, maybe 2. Let's double it and see if it's a little bit crap. I always press F4. So let's try it again with F5 this time to preview the layout, not the whole project. So okay, this is a lot better, I think. Essentially it works, so I'm probably just going to leave it here. Maybe do something like this. I keep pressing freaking F4. I always start projects with F4, essentially. Yeah, this is going to be, not good enough. I'm going to need something like this, probably. And this one. I don't know if I already put in a little shortcut to boost the time, change the time scale, but okay, better. Okay. Almost what I wanted, but yeah. Oh, what actually went in? That's cool. Yeah, I'm going to do something like this, I think. And I also might change this to, I don't know, 3. Let's try it. I'm going to remove the delay, by the way. Not that I'm not done with this level, or the feature at least, but yeah, there is no need to wait an additional 2 seconds at the beginning. Cool. This receives a bigger boost, so yeah, it's harder to counter, but yeah. Let's try it. This is the last modification I'm going to make because as I said, I'm not going to do actual level design. Ooh, that's cool. Okay. Let's take a look why this happens, by the way. There's something weird going on. I mean, why did those last few balls go in a different direction? Huh. Yeah, I might have an idea why this is happening. This could be an issue, I think. Yeah, there are 2 speed boosters and there are a bunch of balls, so let me just check something real quick. If I add the good old for each, like this, it might fix the issue. Because I have a hunch that it uses, no, it's something completely different. Yeah, but definitely when the first ball reaches the speed booster on the right, it changes the direction of the balls on the top. So, okay, this is a picking issue, definitely. So if ball is overlapping the speed booster, I want it to, affect the ball that is overlapping the speed booster and not all other balls. I'm just going to use the lazy solution just to check if I'm onto something. This is the part where I come up with excuses like I'm tired and stuff. Pretty funny, I think, but yeah. Yeah, the moment the first ball crosses this one, then this overlap also is affected. Okay. Yeah, this one fixed it, but I don't like using for each conditions usually because people say that they are pretty bad for performance. So yeah, I'm not sure if I need this anyway. Yeah, I definitely do not. So this basically just does a check at every freaking cycle, I mean tick, that goes through all balls one by one and checks if any of them are overlapping with a speed booster. And if they do, because only one ball is picked and only one speed booster is picked, if there are no speed boosters overlapping, which is not something I want to do in a level. So in this case, the one ball that is picked is forced to go in the direction of the speed booster that is overlapping with it. So yeah, it works basically. Although I wonder if I do something like, yeah, I'm going to copy this, disable it, and do something a little bit backwards. So if a speed booster, no shit, I'm not going to, yeah. The problem with tied backgrounds is that they do not have, for some reason, an overlap condition. Okay, yeah, this is just dead end. Okay, I'm not going to bother at this point, but I'm going to make a note to do NTH, which stands for nice to have, or the nth to do that I'm going to do at one point, and make just a note that I need to optimize this. The question is that do I want to use a Z or an S? I'm going to use an S because I usually do like right color with the O and the U, not just an O. So okay, this is fine. I mean, not great, but it works. So I think I'm just going to go over here and change the in progress to ready for test. Booster wall is now complete. No, it's not, but I mean, it's a beginning of something. It works. It looks like crap, but it works. So let me just grab another card. Something easy. New levels. This is for Tibor, definitely. This is his avatar. I'm not going to touch that card. Okay, so couple of UI enhancements. Yeah, by the way, let's go back to epics a little bit. So there are 3 epics at this point. One is called additional placeables. For example, the speed booster was a placeable. I don't know if it's an actual word, but I don't really care. I used it in a really old game that we made with Tibor called Level Editor Mayhem, which was a working title, and we never finished it, of course. It was one of our first games. It was a cooperative single screen platformer action mayhem stuff inspired by Ultimate Chicken Horse, but it's real time, but you can still play stuff. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. So that's where I coined the phrase placeables. Google doesn't really, approve of it when I Google it, if it's a real word or not. But yeah, I found some pages that says that it is. Never mind. So placeables, like speed boost, the special walls, doors, whatever. The other epic is called menu and UI, which I usually dread. But in this case, I'm not going to do a menu, but might do a few UI enhancements. And the other one is this new and updated levels thing. I mean, it has two. I remember that it only has one card, but no, there are two. Because the post-gen feedback stuff is, inside this, which is already ready. So that's cool. Okay, so let's check the epic called menu and UI and just find a nice, easy to implement UI part. Okay, so we received the feedback that it's cool that the target is, displayed, but a few other heads-up display type of things might come in handy. For example, someone in chat, and I'm blinking on the name, sorry, when, last Friday the Vim stream and playtesting thing was going on, so someone in chat suggested that we had a jump counter, which is just simply a counter that starts at 0 at the beginning of the level, and when the player starts jumping, it just increases by 1. Super easy to implement, and this would, be the base for something like high scores or low scores, to be specific, because the fewer jumps someone uses to complete the level, the better, I think. I mean, the harder. So that's what they should go for. And the jump counter facilitates that, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to start with this one. But also, adding an on-screen ball counter or count, whatever, heads-up display should always, clarify how many balls are there on the screen, and out of those balls, how many you need to rescue. And this can also pinpoint the situations where the player does not have enough to complete the level, and then they should just restart. Although I might also include like an on-screen message that appears in this kind of situations. So, okay, main menu screen definitely not going to do today. Level select screen, no fucking way. And show spawn progress, remaining spawn count on spawners. This I'm going to wait for Tibor, because he already told me that he's going to do a little graphics update for this. This is basically just so all spawners, in the levels like this, these little ones, should have some kind of visual feedback on how many balls are they going to spawn, if they are infinite or if they have like a limit. And either, I was thinking the easiest thing, just adding a little text label that displays the number of remaining balls that will come out of this spawner on the level. But the board suggested something like a circular progress bar or something, like these little loader icons, which are quite popular in the last 10 years on the internet. So something like this might also be a little more elegant, although they are not as exact, because they just basically show a progress as in a percentage, but this should not be this shouldn't be a problem, I think. Never mind. So I'm going to choose a couple of cards that I'm going to tackle now. On-screen ball count, let's go. And the other one was the jump counter. Yeah, I really like this one. This will basically allow us to do some kind of ranking system maybe later, if you want to. I'm not sure. Like, the par time in Doom or something. When you complete the level, you see that there was a par, like in a golf course or something, that usually you might want to meet, like, I don't know, minute and a half for a level. And in this case, we can add like values. For example, this level can be completed in 20 jumps or something like that. And if the player doesn't meet it, that's fine, but they don't get a little golden badge or something, for example. Okay, so on-screen ball count. This is what I'm going to start with. Let's move over to construct, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to bump up the version number to 17. Oh, no, let's do a dist first. Good old distribution. So I'm going to make an export. Okay, offline support is tagged in, never mind, I'm going to disable this for now. It doesn't matter for each version, but it does for the one on Laser Magnet games. But right now the game isn't playable on mobile, so there isn't really a reason to play it on play.lasermagnet.com, but we are planning mobile input support as well. So, okay, the zip is here. I'm going to run the script, and I'm going to go back to construct, and yeah, while the script is running, I'm going to pin it, and I'm going to bump the version number to 17 and make a new version of the project. Yeah, wrong folder. Okay, Attractaball B17, or B17 would be more appropriate as in builds, but never mind. Okay. I'm going to quickly check if the new version is available on Edge. Yeah, it should be. That's cool. I don't think anyone is watching, but if maybe anyone is watching, then yeah, you can check the new build, which has, yeah, it only still has no, sorry, I kind of screwed this one up. So the current build actually has this level as the last level, which is not great. So I'm going to move it over here so it doesn't get played, and I'm going to retroactively change the build back and do another export. Yeah, I don't want anyone to play this fantastic level that I designed, I mean this one. But it does have a bug fix, and it has a couple changes to the existing levels, namely 3 and 7. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Come on. It's really not a fast machine that I'm using, but I got time. I try to be patient. Anyway. Okay. Running the script. Takes a while, never mind. Okay, so let's go back to 17. And we're going to mess with the UI. So the UI is on this layer called UI, and in macros I have a layer UI macro, or essentially a constant. And as you can see, this is the only place I'm referring to this layer, but when I'm referring to the layer, I don't do stuff like this, because this is a bad idea. Sometimes you don't get proper autocomplete. For example, I don't need layer 0. Layer 0 is probably an existing layer on either the object templates or some, yeah, probably on object templates layout, but yeah, I don't need this. However, if I do something like this, then, you know, it's giving me the layers that I basically have inside the v macros event sheet, the constants, but these are referring to layers, and they are strings, and they have exactly the same value as they have in their name after the layer underscore prefix. So this is how I roll, because not only you can do stuff like this, find the references and, you know, check where you refer to this layer, but you can also do stuff like, for example, if I ever change my mind and I want to rename this layer, I only need to essentially change it here in the initial value. Of course, for good measure, I'm probably going to change it here as well, but construct takes care of the refactoring or renaming of the constant, so you don't have to, you know, go through a bunch of code. And also you need to change the actual name of the layer, which is, you know, once again, you only need to do it once or twice. Or in this case, since it's a global layer and I'm using it on a bunch of layouts, I don't know if I actually need to, you know, rename it on every layout. Maybe a bad example, but you know, usually this makes life easier. And also I'm not just using it for layers, I'm doing the same for animations, for example, or timers or tweens. These are timer and tween tags. So yeah. Oh, okay. What was I doing? So yeah, let me just check if the new build is up. Yeah, it is. And I was doing the on-screen ball counter. Cool. Okay. So essentially, I'm using the UI layer as a global layer. So on this particular level, for example, level 9, this is showing as overridden. So I definitely have the actual global layer on the template or the level 0 layout. I'm not sure. Let's check. Yeah. So this level 0 stuff, which was a playground, and I might have, yeah, this I might have done on the level 0. Never mind. So level 0 has the UI layer global setting, which means that if I want to touch the UI layer, add something to it, for example, this counter, I'm going to make the change here, and every other layout will basically receive this change because the layer is global, which is really cool. So the question is, how do I want it to look? So on-screen ball count. Yeah, one of the questions that we raised was, do I want the count to be grouped by ball type? And at this point, I'm not going to, but at one point I might do, because we contemplated making exits ball type specific, or allowing it to be ball type specific, meaning that one exit only receives or can only receive a particular type of ball. I mean, like a pink one only or a blue one only. So it would make sense to have separate targets, and in this case separate ball counts, but I'm not going to do that at this point. So I'm just going to make a copy of this UI text object, and I'm going to change the role, which is an instance variable I use for UI elements, like for example, like text objects. I'm going to change it to ball count. And since this is a role, I'm going to create a macro for it. I have a few roles. Roles are the macros that I use for exactly this. I mean, UI elements. I don't tend to use a bunch of separate objects for text elements. Instead, I use one single text element called UI text, and use role with a different value, and then pick the right one using, you know, checking the instance variables value. So, but you will see that in a minute. So I'm going to name it role ball count. It's going to be a string, and it has the same value like here, and I'm going to make it a constant, and boom, this is how a macro is born. So, oh, also I'm going to use a bookmark at one point. When I'm creating the actual event, I'm going to close up a few levels that I don't need anymore and go back to level 0. And I also tend to do stuff like this, so it's, you know, more visible in the editor that this little number, not number, text, is actually a UI element that has the role ball count. So I'm going to specify it in the text as well, just to be safe. And I'm going to make it horizontally aligned to the left. And yeah, I think that's fine. I'm thinking on the actual label, it should read something like ball count or balls left or something. Okay, so I have a special function usually, anyway, called update UI, and this is where I do this picking stuff that I mentioned earlier. So I get text objects which has the role called ball count, role ball count anyway, And this specific UI text object should have different text in it. Something like balls remaining, balls left is a bit shorter. I prefer this one. And it will just have a single value, a number. So I'm going to temporarily use 0 at this point and press F2 to create a bookmark because I'm making a change here. Okay, so I can either do something like when a ball is spawned, I increment the value, and when a ball is destroyed, I decrease the value, or I can just, you know, rely on constructs count and picked count expressions. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. So balls.count, that's it. That's fine. I mean, update UI is going to run at every tick, I think, at this point anyway. So it's not great performance-wise, but once again, I left this little note here. To do optimize this, oh, let's change it to an S, consistency. And I'm also going to do it like this, so it's nice to have optimization note. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. So basically balls left, colon, and then a number should display for this particular text element or object. Yeah, I think I should check it if it works. Okay, balls are spawning left and right. And now it's, you know, visible that I have 10 and I need to rescue 3. It might be a little awkward that this is in the top left corner and this is in the top right corner, but I'm not going to bother doing anything about it at this point. This UI looks shit anyway, so I will need to do an overhaul that is actually designed by someone who knows their stuff on UIs and stuff like that. So, or I might have a little, you know, go at it, but at this point, I'm not going to bother. Functionally, it's there. That's it. So, on-screen ball count heads-up display is now ready for testing. Cool. The jump counter. This is a little bit more interesting, but it's going to be a really easy implementation as well. I just need a variable which holds the number of jumps that occurred on the level. And I'm contemplating if I should make it like an instance variable. Yeah, possibly, because I mean, it's possible to play this game in multiplayer, so it would be better to have a separate variable for each player, and maybe I can add them up to display the total jump count. But having it, you know, for each player means that I can just, if I want to, I can show how many jumps one player took, for example. So I'm not going to make a global variable for this. Instead, I am going to go to the player's family, which only has the player object in it, but I'm going to create a family instance variable called jumps or something, jump count, but total jump count. Yeah, this is how my brain works. Not great. Total jump count. The issue is that if a player dies, oh no, we already established that I don't want respawn at this point. So if a player dies, then they are dead. That's it. And they cannot join in again. They can only wait for the level to restart or the other ones to complete the level. So total jump count is going to work fine, I think, at this point. So essentially, I just need to make a little hook with the jump custom action, which is for players. So right here, where we made the little change. And essentially after all the checks run and the jump is going through, I just need to add 1 to total jump count, and this is probably it. Yeah. Okay. I don't remember. Did I do garbage collection? Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. Garbage collection is something that I do to get rid of objects that are not needed anymore. And every 1 second, I check if one of the balls are really far off at the bottom and destroy them. And I also do the same thing for obstacles. I wanted to check if I do anything for players, and right now I do not. So that's all right, because I don't want something like, if a player is destroyed because of this garbage collector stuff, then they can join again. I do not want that. So yeah, this is fine this way, but potentially this is an issue later if I make a garbage collector for the players. But I'm not going to do that because, a couple objects like players, even if they are off the screen and far below the playing field, that's fine, not a big performance issue, although I might, quick note. Okay, so the variable holds the jumps, and I definitely do not move players between levels. So essentially when a player is born or created, the jump is just set to 0, which is totally fine. So if you move to a different level and spawn, then you will start again from 0, which is what I want. I don't want like a total jump counter, like across multiple levels, how many jumps you took. I'm only interested in how many jumps you did on a single level. Okay, so I will need a different UI element that shows the number of jumps for now. And I'm going to do it in a really similar fashion as I did it in the previous one. Ooh, my brain is going to shut down in a few, I think. So this might be the last card that I'm actually doing today. Okay, so this is how it looks like now. Balls left, balls rescued. Okay. Yeah, I might change stuff a little bit. This I want to move right here because they are related. And I think I'm just going to use the same text object. So I'm going to change stuff. Roll ball count is going to total jumps. Okay, sorry. Total jumps is going to be the new roll, and yeah. And I'm going to do this rename stuff that I mentioned earlier because, hey, it's a different reason to rename something, reuse something that you wanted to get rid of, but you need something really similar. Then you can just, make the change, reuse it. You don't have to delete and create a new one. So roll total jumps. Okay. This is going to go over here like this. See how it looks like and if it fits. Yeah, balls rescued, balls left. I think this is fine. Yeah, it doesn't look good, but yeah, it's cool. And here I'm going to just do something like jumps, total jumps. And this is the tricky part because I want to show a total here, I think. Or I could do something like subtotals, like show a different number for each player with the color that is the color of the player and show a total one. I'm not going to bother doing this, so I'm just going to show total jumps and sum up all the jumps of all players. And to do this, I think I'm going to need like a freaking for each. Yeah. Or I could just, you know, do a separate global variable. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that instead. So total jumps, global variable number starts with 0. That's fine. And I will need to reset this to 0 at the beginning of each level, because since it's a global variable, this is going to stay at the same value when I move between layouts. So right here in the init level function, I'm going to set value of total jumps to 0, just like I set the value of these little state variables. Sorry, I'm going to hydrate in a second. Crap, I hope that wasn't too loud, sorry. Okay, so where was I? Luckily I have a bookmark, although yeah, this is a little bit tricky because I did it for a different reason, but yeah, it's right where I want it to be. So total jumps, and I'm just going to refer to the total jumps global variable here. So this should work fine, but I of course need to increment this variable as well when I increment the total jump count of each player when they jump. Total jump count, okay, I used a different name, total jumps. I'm going to change this to total jump count. Oops. Okay. Cool. Add to total jump count 1. This is it. So if someone jumps, not only their instance variable that's called total jump count increases by 1, but the global variable called total jump count also does. So I'm going to try something. Okay, so if I click, I spawn. If I click again, I increase the jump counter. That's cool. And if I join with the second player, they increase it as well. That's nice. Exactly what I wanted. So this should work fine. Just for good measure, I'm going to play through this level. Oops, I'm going to go full screen. Yeah. So I don't know if it's going to lower the frame rate a lot. Sorry if it does. My laptop really is crap. Oh, and I'm crap as well. Sorry. I'm usually a lot better at this, but I know it doesn't look like it. This is what I did at the beginning of the stream. Sorry. Yeah, okay, this is going to be fine. So let's just move over here. 53 freaking jumps already. That's horrendous. Okay, so whoops. Okay, so it's 57 at the end. And I cannot jump when the big text is displaying because I disable the input. I mean, probably using condition if the level has ended or something like this. Okay, so now it's back to 0, which is cool, which is exactly what I wanted. So okay, that's cool. That was an easy task as well. Thank you, Construct, and thank you for the suggestion, whoever your name is. Sorry, I skipped this one. I mean, I'm not quite sure. Never mind. Okay, so jump counter heads up display is now ready for testing as well. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to stop right here. Let me just go through the cards again. Spawn progress, no. I'm going to wait for Tibor. Menu, pause menu, no, definitely not. Curved walls sounds interesting, but I'm not going to do that because it needs art, and I think I either wait for Tibor or, you know, I don't know, make some curved walls in vector editor like Inkscape or something and import it and then use this. I'm not going to do that right now. and all the pass-through walls might be a little bit trickier, so I think I'm going to end it right here. So, thank you for watching. If you're watching the VOD, I'm pretty sure that no one was watching the stream, but that is totally fine. I'm not doing it for the views, and at least I'm not distracted by chat, which is cool. I'm distracted by myself though, so never mind. Okay, so I'm going to leave it here. This is build 17. It has no new levels, not yet anyway, but hopefully Tibor is adding a few new ones as we speak, or at least this week. And yeah, a bunch of new heads-up displays are there. Bug has been squashed, and a few minor changes have been made to the existing levels. I mean, 2 of them, which is cool. And there's a new feature, but it's not yet available in any of the levels that are publicly accessible if you just, you know, play the game, but that's coming soon anyway. So I'm just going to make an export, upload it to itch, give it a bit of a try, and if it works fine, then I'm going to end the stream for today. And yeah, my brain is kind of in a suboptimal state, to say the least. I'm tired. Okay, the each upload is already complete. I'm not going to wait for the other one. So let's just check if, yep, and there's probably a new build, hopefully the one that I just uploaded. Okay, it's loading, and if I go to full screen, I can already see that this is the new build because it has the total jumps and balls left heads-up displays right there. So I'm just going to give it a quick go with the gamepad controls. Although, you know what, you already saw this level a couple of times. I'm going to press C, if I can, which completes the level without actually completing the level. I'm going to press it again. This is basically a level skip shortcut that you are free to use at this point. Later I might take it out because, you know, it's not really a big challenge if you can just keep pressing the letter C on the keyboard and skip all levels. Okay, I think this level I did not play, not today anyway, and not on stream. Okay, so let's do this. This is the first level that actually has a teleport, I think, in it. It works like this, pretty straightforward. And you can move this little obstacle out of the way, which allows the other obstacle to fall down. And this is basically it. So at this point, you can just keep jumping right over here. And now you just have to move these balls to the right. Like this. And this level has a really relatively high target, but there are a crap ton of balls. As you can see, there are 45 left, and I only need like 25 to finish the level, so this is really not a hard one, not yet anyway. The one that has the seesaw, now that's different. Cup of tea or whatever it's called. Cup of soup, never mind. But I lowered the difficulty by changing the target number of balls from 15 to 7, so yay, we did it. I mean, I did it, but yeah. Okay, one more level. I'm going to try the mouse controls for this one. This level has a little bit of a different jump. What is it called? So the allowed number of jumps that you can do is 9 and not 5. There's this nice little domino effect. Once it falls down, you got a little bit of space here so you can move to the right. And this is the tricky part because, yeah, the obstacle is a little bit in the way. Okay, So I'm just going to wait for the jump counter to replenish and straight for the teleportation device. Cool. And it only has one ball. Oh shit. What happened here? Balls left 11. I think I might know what's happening here. Yeah. Let me just go to the layout. I'm pretty sure there is a spawner outside the walls. And we don't see the balls. And the only reason that the balls don't get garbage collected is because they are on top of the layout, I think. So let me just quickly fix that. Yeah, not this one. This is fine. Yeah, right there. This is not needed. I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to check if, yeah, this is fine. This is not fine. Once again, I'm going to delete this spawner as well. So these spawners are not spawning a bunch of balls on top or outside anyway of the layout, which would, you know, count towards the target. These obstacles are not needed anyway. So I'm going to delete those as well while I'm here. And maybe, just maybe, I'm going to do a little bit of a extra export because of this. Yeah, there are a bunch of, yeah, this is needed, this is not needed, this is not needed. This is not needed either. Okay, the seesaw level is free of stuff outside. This is not needed. Okay, just a bit of a cleanup. So, okay. I'm not going to bump up the number. I'm just going to do this. I usually do this when I make a tiny little bit of a change, like a hotfix or something. I do not bump up the build number. I just add the letter and I start with B, for example, and go through the letters of the alphabet if I want to make additional tiny changes to this build. So, no, I'm going to save it, then I'm going to export it, upload it, check if it works fine, but it really should. I mean, I could check it inside construct, but okay, let's check it inside construct. So if I run this level with F5 and 4, now it should only, yeah, display balls left 1, which is the accurate amount of balls. I mean, the previous one was accurate as well. The player just didn't see them, but they were stacked on top of the level. Okay, so let's do it again, but this time here. Shit. Yeah, you need to press R at this point to restart, just like I did. Okay, I'm trying not to screw it up this time. Cool. Okay, so this level you just need to do this and that's it. Total jumps 18. That's fair. Okay. Yeah, the infinite spawner is going to make this counter go up and down all the time because they are getting destroyed by this red lava thing, but that's fine. Okay, so did I do the export? I don't think so. Let's do it. Good. Yeah, that's not the thing I wanted to open. Okay, so let's run the script. Yeah, I skipped this level. This is the old version, by the way. And there's the seesaw, and the last level is, yeah, this is the one. This also has an infinite spawner right here, and I think it had a different spawner on top of it. Never mind. I'm going to check if the latest build is available. Yeah, looks like it. Okay. Right. I'm going to stop right here. Take one last look at the board. So a couple things are ready for testing, and there are a bunch of features that I still need to implement. The only actual bug is squashed. It's also ready for testing, and I'm just going to notify T-Board that the new build is up, although he might have been notified a couple of times by Edge because it sends an email if your own project is updated for some reason, but that's fine. Okay, so thanks for sticking around, guys. I'm hoping someone's going to watch the VOD and find it either interesting or maybe useful. But if not, that's totally fine too. That's not what I do it. I do it so I do stuff like this, because usually I'm just too lazy to get started. And streaming really makes me, focused a little bit. And there is also the thing that I found that rubber ducking the whole process is kind of slowing me down. But I don't know. I kind of like to think that I make fewer mistakes this way, because either because I'm doing it slower, or because the actual rubber ducking itself. So I kind of think things more through, possibly. Not all the time, as you probably saw, but some of them are a little more thought out. Yeah, my brain is freezing, so thanks for watching, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to do something like this either this week or next week tops. And I also want to invite anyone to join the millions of gems on itch, because it's really a really nice place to go. And I'm pretty sure that one of the gems this week is going to be one of my favorite game dev streamers, Jackie. I don't know if I can find the gem, if it's public, but let's check it. Yeah, it might not be. I think the Pirate Software gem was not public either. Anyway, Jackie Codes. I'm going to Google it, because she announced the gem, and hopefully this is the one and this is not an old one. Yeah, it starts in 2 days, and although Jackie uses Godot, anyone can use any engine, as you see. And I don't know what the theme is going to be, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good one. So I might partake in this gem, but I'm going to wait for a theme, definitely. So yeah, thanks for sticking around, and take care. Anyway, bye now.